Okay, sit yourself onto your lift and then just come into a good cross-legged position and just wriggle about until you feel like you're sitting evenly. So sitting in cross legs, just observing balance of the seat bones and just adjusting until you feel that you are sitting with levelness. Hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest and consciously draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Look at something that doesn't move. It's something on the floor 6 to 8 feet away from where you're sitting. Just keeping your eyes still in the sockets. Helps to draw your attention into the physical sensations of the pose. Just addressing your balance or otherwise, and just observing how you're sitting for levelness. Lift the heart area consciously, draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste. Lengthen from your armpits into your elbows into the heels of the hands into the fingertips. And with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Fill in the lungs from the bottom to the top. And emptying your lungs from the top to the bottom. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest, lift your chest up to meet your chin. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area. And then gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Just hold onto your knees. Elevate the heart area up to the ceiling, drawing your shoulders consciously away from your ears so you lengthen out the neck. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across and your ribs and your shoulders. Just listening to the sound of the breath, drawing the abdomen across the ribs and the shoulders, observing where there is resistance, observing where there is none, observing where there is freedom. Come back to the centre, hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest, elevating the heart area upwards. Again, drawing your shoulders down. Take a deep inhalation in through the nose. And then turn to the left. Again, just observing how it feels on the inside. Just listening to the breath. And then gently come back to the centre. Again, just hold onto your knees and just spend a moment to elevate the torso out of the hips, up into the chest, into the heart area, up into the sky. Like a seedling poking out of the earth, reaching up towards the sun. Stretch your arms forwards, interlock the fingers, turn the palms all the way up, and then reach up to the ceiling. Feeling that your arms are a continuation of that upward extension, that natural raise up towards the sun. Squeezing the outer elbows in, lifting up into the chest, winging the elbows beyond your ears. Release your arms, swap the interlock of the fingers so the other index finger is on the top of the stack, and then again turn palms out and raise your arms over your head. Feeling where the seat bones are and lifting the upper body away from the seat bones. So the hips press down, but the armpits reach up. Chest reaches up. The arms reach up. Squeeze those outer elbows inwards so that the arms become as straight as they can. So if your elbows are bent like this, can you squeeze them in together? And then release, just release the hands, palms facing upwards. Observe the energy that you've released into the arms. Okay, come off the lift and onto all fours. Just come in onto all fours and then bring your little fingers onto the edge of the mat. Stretch the thumbs towards each other, really spreading the palm skin. Turn your toes under, have your feet as wide apart as the mat, and then come up into dog down. So just feel how your body responds to dog down this morning. Tighten the kneecaps, turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Lift the seat bones up away from the backs of the thighs. Keep the palms pressing flatly into the mat. So if you release the palms, then it becomes really heavy on your shoulders. So press the palms consciously. Press the finger knuckles consciously into the mat. And then you get support in the shoulders. Push the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Keep the seat bones lifting. And then with the seat bones lifting, bring the heels a little closer to the floor. Not saying all the way down, but soon look at the front of your foot and ankle. If you start to see creases occur between the ankle and the shin, then you're dropping your legs too much. So you've got to really lift the shins, lift the fronts of the thighs up towards the tops of the legs as you stretch the heel away from the toes, bringing the heels down. So it's easy to bring the heels down, but can you bring the heels down with activated legs? And if those creases occur, it means that the legs are dropping. Step your feet forward, come up into the standing position, and get a couple of blocks for your hands, and then have your feet as wide apart as your mat. Make sure that your toes are in line with each other. Just observe how poses we've done so far have brought some energy into the physical body. Tighten the kneecaps, turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, lift up into the heart area, and then hinge at the hips. Hinge at the hips, keeping the back straight, and then reach down and find the blocks. Have the blocks underneath your shoulders. Tighten the knees, turn the fronts of the thighs in so that the backs of the thighs broaden outwards, and then pick up the seat bones. Project the chin and the chest forwards. Just breathing even, deep inhalations and exhalations. Again, just waking up the legs. Tightening the kneecaps, pressing the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees really consciously. Pressing the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Turning the fronts of the thighs inwards so that the backs of the thighs broaden outwards, giving you space to pick up the seat bones a little more. If you can go down lower, then do, but not at the expense of losing extension. Hit the legs back so that your weight is really consciously in your heels. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. If you can, then reach around the outsides of the heels, keeping the back straight at all times. So it's a little standing forward bend. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Okay, bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Bring your hands into the hips and then bend your knees. And just come back up into Tadasana, the inner edge of the feet together, lifting up into the chest. Breathing even, deep inhalations and exhalations. Listen to the breath. Fill your lungs from the bottom to the top and empty them from the top to the bottom. Bring your arms out nice and wide in toward your chest, and then step or jump your feet nice and wide. Just have your hands on your hips for a second afterwards. And then turn the right toes in steeply and then rotate on the left heel. Sorry, that I've got my lefts and rights the wrong way around. Turn the left toes in and then turn the right foot all the way out. And then see if you can swing the hips from the front to face that front leg. Now at some stage you'll need to pick up that back heel, turn it out and then bring it back down. And then this back leg is much more likely to be able to turn in Tadasana. So keep that Tadasana action in the legs, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards. The action that we were doing in Uttanasana. Have your hands on your hips and then consciously lift from the abdomen to the diaphragm to the collarbone. Wing the elbows behind you. Keep that back leg straight, tighten the kneecap as much as you can with that back leg. Reach up to the ceiling. Keep that back leg dead straight and then bend the front knee. Find a right angle. So you might have to creep the foot away a little bit. If the heel lifts of that back foot, don't worry, but keep that back leg straight, tightened at the kneecap, lifting up into the chest. Find the right angle, keep the hips level, keep that back leg turning inwards. The front of the thigh turning inwards. Back of the thigh turning outwards. Keep the back leg straight, the kneecap fiercely tightened. Finding that right angle, reaching up, pushing into the heel of that back leg. And then straighten the leg. Come back to the centre. And then step or jump the feet back together. Come back into Tadasana. So sometimes we'll do both, or we'll usually do both sides rather than coming into Tadasana in between. But sometimes it's good to just observe what that pose just brought into the body. So be in Tadasana. Keep turning the fronts of the thighs inwards. That's a really important element of Tadasana. If you're not sure about turning those thighs inwards, bend your knees, clamp the knees together and try and keep the knees together as you straighten the legs. And then that will instantly make you turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Tuck the tailbone in. Lift up. So the Tadasana legs tightened at the kneecaps, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards. And then it creates this kind of corkscrew action into the backs of the legs. Fronts of the legs turn inwards, the backs of the legs turn outwards. Around towards the fronts of the legs. So think about this corkscrew action of the leg. From the top of the leg, kind of spiraling all the way down into the shins. Lift up into the chest. Tuck the tailbone in, draw the belly button towards the spine. So all of these elements we bring into virabhadrasana 1. Bring your arms out nice and wide into the chest and then step the feet nice and wide. And then this time turn the right toes in, so that is the right foot this time, and then rotate on the left heel. Pick up that back heel, turn the heel outward. So when the hips are facing this way as opposed to this way, then the heels should be in line with each other. So just find your balance and then find your Tadasana. Corkscrew the legs from the top of the thigh all the way down. So the front of the leg turns inwards, the back of the leg turns outwards. Do it with both legs, not just the back leg. But the back leg is the kind of priority. Reach up and bend that front knee. Find the right angle. Keep that back leg corkscrewing. Keep pressing into the heel of that back leg. Lifting from the abdomen to the diaphragm to the collarbone, into the armpits, into the elbows, the wrists, the palms. Keep that back leg straight, pushing into the heel of that back leg. Bend that front leg so that you find a right angle. And then straighten the front leg. Come back to the center. And then step or jump the feet back together. And come back into Tadasana. Just listen to the breath. Focus on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. And come back into your Tadasana. Activating that corkscrew action of the legs. Lifting up into the heart area. Turning the palms all the way out. Lifting up into the chest. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Tucking the tailbone in. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Okay, we're going to do padangusthasana. So if you've got a bad back, then padangusthasana can be a little irritant for a bad back. So what you can do instead is, well, you can either use the belt for the feet, or you can just do kind of a version of half uttanasana, where you come forward with the legs, you can have them apart, and then extending the front chest away, hitting the legs away from the post, so on the hands on the top of the table or on the back of the chair. If you know that you can't reach your toes, then you can use a belt around your toes. You hook the big toes into the belt, and then you just come forward this way. But all the time you come forwards. You come forwards with a straight back, never a rounded back. That's going to hurt your back. So just use the belt if you feel like you might need it, and then bring the feet hip width apart. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Tighten the kneecaps, lift up into the chest, elevating the heart area upwards, and then keep the legs in that corkscrew action. Keep the head lifted, keep the back straight as you come forwards. Reaching forwards, using the belt if necessary. Try and keep the lumbar spine tucking in. And then reach down, get hold of the big toe with the index finger and the middle finger underneath the big toe and the thumb around the outside of the big toe. So straight legs, tighten the kneecaps, turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, lift the fronts of the thighs up towards the tops of the legs, press the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs, and then extend the spine forwards. Have a tug of war with your big toes, like try to stamp them down, but try and pull them out of the, like you're pulling a nail from the floor. Try and lift and stamp down at the same time. And then if you can bend your elbows out to the sides, keeping the legs determinedly active. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. So another standing forward bend. So at all times we're always keeping the head lifted initially, at least. Coming forwards with the chest, drawing the body through the space between the legs. But keeping the legs actively and determinedly active. Okay, and then Just release the hands. Bring the hands into the hips. Bend your knees all the way up if you need to, and then come up into a standing position. And again, come up into Tadasana. Corkscrewing the legs. Just listening to the breath. So turning the fronts of the legs inwards, the backs of the thighs outwards, in a corkscrew action all the way down into the legs, into the feet. Okay, we're going to do padahastasana, which is a further extension from padangusthasana. So if you know that you're not going to be able to reach down, then you can put a folded blanket underneath your feet and then bring the tops of your feet onto the folded blanket, and then you come forward into the pose that way. Otherwise, we're going to come forwards in the same way. You can come forwards with the arms outstretched. I find that quite hard on the back though. And then you're going to place the back of the hand underneath the foot and then stretch forwards that way. So if you know that you're not going to be quite there, then you can do padangusthasana again, either with the block, with the belt, or with your feet and the front of your feet elevated, and then you get the same stretch. It's a really good stretch in the calves and in the Achilles. So turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, the backs of the thighs outwards, lift up into the chest, wing the elbows back, keep the head lifted as you hinge at the hips. Turning the fronts of the thighs inwards. The more you turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, the more you can lift the seat bones, the more flexibility you get in the hips. Release the hands from the hips and then place the backs of the hands onto the floor so that the palms of the hands touching the soles of the feet. So once you're there, then maybe separate the heels a little bit more to give you space in the hips. Lift the kneecaps, press the kneecaps through to the backs of the knees, turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, activate that corkscrew action of the legs, and then project the chin and the chest forwards. The first stage isn't to pull the body into the chest into the legs, it's to extend the spine. So extend the spine into the middle of the room. And then if you can straighten your back at that stage, but straight legs, Andrew, straight legs. Can you straighten your legs? So just be careful with your back if you bending your knees. So don't overdo it. Just keep your knees bent, actually, Andrew, if that's strong for your back. And then bring the chest through the legs. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Okay, release your hands. Come into half uttanasana. You'll find a really good half uttanasana. And then bring your hands into your hips and then come back up. And then come back into Tadasana. So just come into Tadasana. So the reason why I told you to keep your legs bent, Andrew, is because the problem with a pose like this, you can come into the pose with your legs bent. But the problem is this one, especially if you come into this pose with the legs bent, and then you try and, it's easy enough to do it with your legs bent, but then you can really put strain on your back if you straighten your legs. And so, because your hands go further in than maybe that they would normally do. So it's important to come down into the pose with straight legs. You can do things like padangusthasana with bent knees to start off with, and then straighten them. But that is really quite strong on your back. So because it pushes your chest forwards more than you would normally do. And then when you straighten your back, it can really it can really aggravate your back. So just be careful of coming into those with bent knees. Anyway, just come into Tadasana, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards. Lift in the chest, interlock the fingers, turn the palms all the way out, and then extend your arms up to the ceiling. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Just observe the internal fire in the arms and the torso and in the legs. Keep corkscrewing the legs. Release your arms, just swap the interlock of the fingers and then turn the palms all the way out. And then gently release your arms. And again, just feel the energy in the shoulders. Come down onto your knees and have your hands shoulder width apart. Turn your toes under. And then step yourself back into dog down. Again, corkscrewing the legs. Pressing the palms flatly into the floor. Pressing the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs, right up to the top of the hip. And then stretch the heels all consciously away from the toes. Keep the fronts of the legs lifted. And then bring the heels a little closer to the floor, but using those creases at the fronts of the legs to indicate whether you're dropping the legs. Okay, and then come down onto the tops of your feet. Just sit back on your heels, just observe your energy, observe how your energy has changed. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And then come forwards, turn the toes under, and then sit back on your heels with the toes turned under. So you still keep the knees on the floor, just turning the toes under, lifting the chest. Pressing the ball joint of the foot into the floor, stretching across into the little toe side of the foot. And then come forwards, stretch the toes away, and then bring the feet back down onto the floor. Feel how the feet really connect to the ground. Lift up into the chest. And then one more time. Come forwards, turn the toes under, and then sit back on the feet. So it just stretches out the toe mounds. Lengthen the heels away from the knees. Lift up into the chest. And then come forwards, stretch the toes away, and then just sit back on your heels. So quite a nice stretch for the toes. Just keep the feet flat on the floor, lift up into the chest, and then come forwards, keeping the head lifted as you come forwards, keeping the back straight as you come forwards, stretching forwards, and then bring the forehead down. consciously keep the seat bones in contact with the heels, using your physical intelligence to know that the heels are in contact with the seat bones, or the buttock flesh at least. Listen to the breath. Focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. And then just bring the hands to the sides of the body in the traditional child's pose. Just allow there to be some gentle pressure on the forehead. If it becomes too much, then consciously lengthen from the shoulders into the fingertips to redistribute that weight away from the head. But let there be a little pressure on the forehead to quieten the frontal lobes of the brain. And then bring the hands underneath the shoulders, push yourself up into a seated position, just observing your energy. Observing how the brain feels a little quieter, perhaps. Observing how your energy fills into the body, like a neon light seeking out the end of the tube. Okay. Sit yourself either directly on the floor, or if you know that you struggle to lift your chest when you sit directly on the floor, you can sit on a folded blanket. Get a belt where you can reach it, have a couple of blocks where you can reach them, and then stretch your legs out. So roll over and move the buttock flesh out to the side so that you come right onto the tops of the seat bones. And then bring the feet together. Now at this stage, it will determine whether or not you need to sit on something. And it's not always the same. So I want you to corkscrew the legs, tighten the kneecaps, corkscrew the legs, have the hands at the sides of the hips, and then roll onto the front edge of the seat bones. Now, I feel like today I can normally sit directly on the floor without any problem, but this morning, for some reason, I feel like I could sit on a blanket and kind of get a good benefit from that. So, yeah, so that kind of changes how you lift. So maybe try sitting on a folded blanket and lift up into the chest. It just gives you space around the lumbar and gives you additional lift in the chest. So if you feel that your lumbar especially is rolling out like this, then sit yourself on a lift. Get the left leg, and bring that leg out to the side, like you're doing virasana. Now if this leg is kind of floating up in the air, then you need to give it some support with a block at the head of the knee. If the outside of the calf is on the floor, then you don't need that support, but because I'm lifting a little higher, I'm going to put that block there. Turn this front leg, corkscrew this front leg so that the back of the thigh feels like it broadens outwards. Just have your belt handy and then throw the belt around the foot and then hold on to the belt. Push the heel away from the hip. Pull the toes towards your kneecap. Corkscrew that leg. Lift up into the chest and turn the chest to face that straight leg. So you don't necessarily need to start with the belt, but it's a good starting point. It gives you elevation into the spine and it just gives you space. Just feel around the back as your buttock bone moved as a result of bending this knee out to the side. So try and bring those hips level. Lift up into the chest, turning the chest to face the straight leg. Then, if you've got a bad back, just stay at this stage, lifting up into the chest. If you don't, then cross the belt over so that it still stays in position, and then raise your arms up. Lift your arms to the ceiling. And again, rotate the chest so that it's straight along the leg. Keep that leg corkscrewing, the front of the thigh turning inward so that the big toe is pointing to 12 o'clock. Keep the head lifted as you come forwards. Keep the head lifted, keep the arms lifted. Just come back a second. As soon as you just come back. As soon as you drop your arms and your shoulder blades stick out. So as you come forwards, keep the arms lifted. Keep the arms lifted, even though you're stretching. No, keep your arms lifted, even though you're stretching beyond the foot. And then take hold of the arms. And then hold onto the foot, or if you can't reach the foot, hold onto the belt. Corkscrew that leg. Turn the chest to face the leg. Take the thumbs around with the fingers. And then keep coming forwards if you can. Bending your elbows out to the sides. Push in from the hip into the heel of this straight leg. If you can reach around the foot, then do. Coming forwards, but not trying to drop the head too soon. Coming forwards, lengthening along the leg. Bringing the chest down onto the leg. And then you can bring your head down. But if your chest isn't on your leg, don't bring your head down. Keep extending the head towards the foot. Keep rotating the leg. Keep rotating the chest. And then lift the head and come back to the centre, just observing that quietness that comes over the brain. Coming out of a forward bend and straighten both legs out in front. Again, just stretching the legs out, lifting up into the chest. And then bend that leg. Keep the hips level, keep the hips in place. As you bend the right leg out to the side, bring the foot into the thigh like you're doing virasana. And then corkscrew this leg. If this leg is floating up in the air, then give it some support. If the outside of the calf is in contact with the floor, then you'll probably be all right without it. Use the belt to start off with. It just helps you to get the sense of lift in the chest. So put the belt around the ball joint of the foot and then rotate the front of the leg, rotate the back of the leg. Turn the chest to face the leg, lift up into the heart area. Lengthen consciously from the heel, so from the hip into the heel of that straight leg. Pull in the toes towards the kneecap so you really stretch out the calf and the Achilles. Lifting up into the chest, just listening to the breath, keeping the chest lifted and open. Come on then, Arthur. Sorry, the cat wanted to come in. Lifting up into the chest. Cross the belt over so it stays in position, or keep holding the belt if you've got a back problem, and then lift up into the chest. And then with the arms straight, with the arms lifted, come forwards, pressing that front leg into the floor really firmly, keeping the arms lifted, stretching beyond the foot. That's it, and then reach around the foot. Keep the heart area lifted, keep the head lifted once you've got hold. Take the thumbs around with the fingers. Keep rotating this leg, keep rotating the abdomen. If you can reach around the foot, then do. Keep the head lifted, keep extending forwards, keep corkscrewing that front leg. Keep rotating that abdomen from the right to the left. So this side might feel different to the other, so respond to that. Just don't try and drop your head too soon. Keep the head lifted until the chest is in contact with the leg, and then you can bring the head down. But if the chest is nowhere near the leg, then just stay extending forwards. Keep rotating that front leg. Keep rotating the abdomen. Pushing from the hip into the heel of that straight leg, pulling the toes towards the kneecap. Okay, and then gently come back to the center. You can just hold onto the belt and then stretch that leg out, have the feet in the belt, and then lift up into the chest, corkscrewing the legs, lifting up into the heart area, drawing your shoulders down. Again, just observing the quietness of coming out of a forward bend. And then just bring the legs into swastikasana. So sit on a lift if necessary, just coming into cross legs and elevate the heart area upwards, draw your shoulders down. Take a deep inhalation in through the nose and then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across and your ribs and your shoulders. And then come back to the center. Hold on to your knees, lift up into your chest, and then turn to the left. And then gently come back to the center. Just move the blocks out of the way and then come down onto your back and into supta padangusthasana. Just laying yourself flat along the floor, soles of the feet together, knees apart. You can have a folded blanket underneath your head. And then just let the body relax into the floor for a moment, just feeling how the floor supports the back and the hips and the legs. If there's stiffness in your hips, then put blocks on the outsides of your thighs. Otherwise, just allowing yourself to acclimatise to the straight line of the floor. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling, interlock the fingers, turn the palms outwards, and then lengthen your arms along the floor. If there's stiffness in your shoulders, have a folded blanket underneath your hands or a block or whatever you need. Raise your arms, swap the interlock of the fingers, turn the palms all the way out. And then release your arms, bend your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just softening out the spine on the floor. And then just come up onto your elbows, align yourself right down the centre of the mat. Be precise about that. Have a folded blanket from underneath your head, and then stretch your arms out to the sides, just away from the body a little. Palms facing upwards, resting your hand on the middle knuckle. Consciously unhook the muscles of the arms and the legs, so that the physical body becomes heavy on the floor. Just releasing into the floor, letting the muscles relax, feeling that energy radiating from the bones and into the muscles. To the organs, into the flesh and the skin. And then when you're ready to disturb yourself, just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers. Bend your knees, bring your knees in towards your chest, have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. And then roll onto your right side, just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just a final cross legs with your hands in Namaste, a final spinal lift. Just draw your breath in through your nose down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you've released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the reclining poses bring to the body and to the mind. And then with an exhalation, bring your chin down to meet your chest up to meet your chin. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. Bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb. A gesture of wisdom, of peacefulness, and of physical intelligence that we can carry with us into our day as an intention. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though you've really lifted your energy and given yourself good, positive energy to put into your day. So thank you very much for joining me.